XRP. Shout out to the great Crypto Lulu, who has this right here, and it's not that long. States, what if Ripple loses the case? Again, you have to, I don't think this is going to happen, but worst case scenario, right? This is not FUD or anything like this, but this is like a what if scenario, and what's the reaction going to be to that? So we're going to play this. This is about 45 seconds, and then we'll come right back.
Here's exactly what happens when Ripple loses the court case against the SEC. I think the first thing that happens is we all get grandfathered in. I think Ripple pays a fine, and every token that was bought before the resolution of the court case is now grandfathered in. You may still need accredited investor status to be able to buy and sell XRP afterwards, but you're grandfathered in by the assets that you hold. The banks and the institutions still need XRP to run effectively, and you would be holding that same XRP. Over the course of the next 10 years, XRP goes up to $10,000 to facilitate all of these payments cross-border that the bank are making, and we'll be rich. I made a full video about the other outcomes of this court case on my most recent YouTube video. Check out my YouTube, follow the instructions in my profile, and let me know that you came from this video.
All right, so shout out to Crypto Lulu in regards to that. We do have about one more to share, and believe it or not, this time you definitely want to tune into this. This is regarding Elon Musk. All right. So with all of the bad news that Elon Musk has been getting as of lately, I thought I would share this to give, I guess you could say, kind of help the man. Does he really need help with anything, though? Here is Elon Musk, as we know, one of the smartest individuals to have ever walked this earth, telling you how corrupt the SEC are. Go XRP, right? Listen to this, though. You could draw your own connection. This is only 27 seconds. And then, like I mentioned, we'll be right back.
I was told by the banks that if I did not agree to settle with the SEC, that the banks would cease providing working capital and Tesla would go bankrupt immediately. So that's like having a gun to your child's head. So I was forced to concede to the SEC unlawfully, those bastards. And now it makes it look like I lied when I did not, in fact, lie. I was forced to admit that I lied to save Tesla's life, and that's the only reason.
A particular interview from Charlie Ward in which is talking about Basel. Now, some of you guys have talked about Basel before in the past. I don't know if it was Menelect, maybe it was Cool Cat, maybe it was some of the other guys, maybe Mike Cornwell and so on. But it's worth mentioning, and I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and pull this back up to share this. So this was a recent interview, and here we go. And it's in regards to the banks basically having to be Basel IV compliant, right? In regards to like CBDC specifically. This is 2 minutes, and then of course we'll come right back.
Now we're in January 2023. This is going to be fun because the banks have to be Basel IV compliant as of today. What is Basel IV? Basel IV is that they have to have assets to back their position as a bank, as it was back in the 1970s. But when they started printing money, everything got out of hand. Those days are over. So the banks have to be Basel IV compliant. The media will try and pretend, oh, no, they've got an extension. No, that was last year. There is no extension. The Basel IV is now in operation. January the 2nd, 2023. And if you are not in a position where you've got assets to back your position, you are not allowed to open your doors for business. There's also an interesting twist in the tale. They've been pushing their central bank digital currency. There's one problem. It's not Basel IV compliant. They haven't got the precious metals and golds to back it. Dead duck in the water, I think, springs to mind. Do your research. It's all there in plain sight. Very, very difficult to launch a central bank digital currency when the banks have to be Basel IV compliant. As of today, January the 2nd, 2023. Enjoy.
All right. So with that said, just real quick before we get back into the comments, Brian Dowie, if you happen to be watching, you did mention on yesterday's show that there was a delay of ISO 222, or at least a mandate, when it came to that delay to what, June? Then you see this, for instance. Is this in response, or is ISO 222 delay, I guess you could say, also in response to, for instance, what he just mentioned in that particular short clip about Basel? So let me know from the community. I want to hear from you guys. And if anything, it creates a good conversation, because we have been following very closely these specific things when it comes to mandates and whatnot. If CBDCs cannot be truly rolled out, especially when it comes to, um, Europe and so on, then what does that mean going forward? Love to hear from you guys.
David Clay, Elon for president 2024, mass, you know who. I believe XRP will go to $10,000. We're all going to be multimillionaires, 50 to 50K within the next 5 years. Don't worry, I'm going to get on the XRP bandwagon. The next 5 years, see this comment right here says it all. And XLM to $1,000 to $3,000 per coin. Just think of that. And I still have some XLM. And XDC $100. LCX $5 to $10, and Quant, he's saying $30,000 to $80,000. Those are some bold predictions. Max, does anything look out of line there? Does that look all in the realm of possibility? Does it look realistic to you, those numbers?
Does it look realistic, or does it look like it's hopium? I'm gonna say flat out, I'm gonna go with it's realistic. Now, it might not be realistic as far as like it's gonna happen next month or anything. That would be totally unrealistic, right? But yes, I'm with the mass debater when it comes to that. I mean, XRP will go up to 10K. Yeah, I full-heartedly believe that. I mean, I think one of the big standout ones is going to be, for instance, 1200. I know some of you guys have been looking at closely at, what was it, the one that gets mentioned a lot, was it 589, something like that? But yeah, I feel as though 500, then the 1200, some of these top tier ones is 10K. I don't know if I'm holding to 50K. I mean, maybe I guess you could. Yeah, I guess I am when it comes to, I guess, my third bag. So it's going to be like different bags for, based on, taking profits. And then other ones for just, eventually like what Crypto Lulu was talking about, where we eventually get to the point where you just stake it and live off the interest, right? Kind of like, if you won the Powerball, or, was it the Mega Millions is in the news again, right? Another $1 billion lotto. So that's the way I look at it. It's like, why would I want to go against the principle? So at some point we do get to these particular levels, and it could very well happen in 5 years. Why? Because again, we always talk about the utility, being fully utilized. It's never been fully utilized yet. And when that on-demand liquidity starts flowing in, like the example I always mention, you have these two great big giant faucets, one in the shallow end, one in the deep end, and then they're just Olympic-sized swimming pools just filling up with, think about liquidity, right? And right now, it's just getting small droplets because we're not fully utilizing that on-demand liquidity. So that's a great example he's got there. XLM, I definitely feel as though it's right up in there in that mix. XDC especially. Come on, man. Quant and LCX. So yeah, I mean, is he too far off? I don't really think he is. How about this? The only one I say that you're lowballing it, in my humble opinion, is LCX. I say that we get to, for even at half the market cap of BNB, we're like, that'd be like $25. So that's the only one I would disagree on. But nothing but love and respect.
All the way up, all the way Inu. What's up, y'all? I hope this is the year we see some XRP turn around. It would be really changing my view on life. Mr. MD, remember, we are creating a whole new category and asset class. It will free up trillions with a T, of liquidity. Cool. That's the interesting thing about XRP, Max, is that they have to purchase it back, basically, to provide the liquidity that they need. And it's kind of like, it would behoove them. I love saying that word. I haven't said it in a long time. It behooves them to make the price lower, don't you think?
And here it is. And it says, for instance, XRP, fam, India's ahead of the curve. right? We obviously just saw the recent thing with, the CBDC thing, right? But says main words to look out for in 2023 is interoperability. No, I'm not talking about quant this time, right? But it says open source, level playing field, financial inclusion. Yeah, digital assets, XRPL. Now, listen to this. This is under 2 minutes, but yeah, look and listen with what he's saying. Here we go.
Actually have dominated the global sphere in digital advertising, commerce, messaging, cloud infrastructure, social media, and mobile operating systems, amongst many others. In very sharp contrast to this, India has adopted a very unprecedented and a powerful new approach in policy governance through the adoption of digital public infrastructure. This has enabled India to digitally leapfrog in a very big way, with the public sector playing a key role in defining the regulatory guardrails and the private sector innovating and competing in the marketplace. These public digital platforms are open source, they have open APIs, they have open standards for interoperability, and leverage public data for open innovation models. These low-cost and inclusive platforms are based on the core principles of consent-based data sharing protocols, and they have sharply reduced the digital divide in India. They've also created a regulatory level playing field through regulatory framework. Tech innovations normally across history have emerged from the developed world. Digital public infrastructure is an area where an emerging market like India has created a unique model for the world, converging both privacy and innovation. Today, in India, we have a basket of citizen services. You have this Jam Trinity, which links 1 billion plus biometrics with an equal number of bank accounts and mobile phones to drive financial inclusion.